I love making things in Roblox, but do you know what else I love? Kletka. Now I've made some videos on Kletka before, but they really don't do enough to show my love and appreciation for the game. So you know what I did with my collection of skills? I made it in Roblox. My main focus was to recreate the elevator as accurately as possible, along with the floor, which I'll get into later. The design itself is very scrap-like, which I did a decent job, I'd say, at recreating. The first thing you'll notice, however, is that there is a bit of a scaling issue, but I'll just fix that by scaling myself up. Now the view is a bit more accurate and represents the claustrophobic elevator pretty well. As you can see, I've modeled it pretty accurately to the in-game version, down to the littlest details. Here's a quick look for comparison. Something that might catch your eye right away is the lighting and texture. This is all thanks to this video, which is the main inspiration for this project. I'll link it in the description in case you want to try it out. Here's the earliest render, which was the first test. It's a little shoddy, but I was going in the right direction, I think. Stepping off the elevator, we also have a room made, which I picked to be the Chillbrain floor, my personal favorite. It's covered in snow, frost, and ice, and also occasionally snows. It's also a bit brighter than the other floors, which adds a wintry touch to it. The floor also makes you occasionally slip, but I was too lazy to add that. I want to give a big shout out to WizMG for the frost textures and the bottle case model used inside. Of course it's not one-to-one recreation, because, after all, it is Roblox, but I think it is accurate enough to well represent the true nature of Kletka and its rooms and elevator. Despite being a survival horror game, Kletka has its calming, peaceful moments, which I wanted to portray in my render too, and personally, I think I did just that. Now it's time for a deeper dive into the model itself. This first one I have here has both the monster and the walls encasing it. To me, this game feels a lot more underground, and I'm sad that it doesn't get as much appreciation as it should. But despite it being one of my niche interests, I modeled it anyway, and boy was it a lot more fun than I thought it would be. The first initial render that I showed earlier in the video was actually all I was going to do. I was just planning on making the Chillbrain floor and calling it quits. But I caved in and built the Kletka. Although I'm glad I did, I made it harder on myself than it needed to be. Rather than going in-game to look, I just decided to painstakingly refer back to 2 images I found on the internet, and admittedly, not very good images either. As you can tell here, the lighting settings that I have enabled are doing some heavy lifting, as you can see when I move the light. The models look really good even without the lighting setting, but it really captures the essence of the game with it. The lighting well imitates the grunge, grimy, pixelated textures that can be found in-game. Modeling the elevator was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be, because I was able to use my own style and still have it fit into the same style as the game. I'm sure everybody loves the fact that I decided to do this in Roblox rather than any other modeling software like Blender. Sometimes I guess to beat the competition you gotta think outside the box. Anyway, moving on to the model of the actual floor, it doesn't look great on the outside, but it's what's on the inside that matters. And once again, I think Wiz and I represented the Chillbrain floor really well. Well, that's all I got for this video, so if you like this type of stuff, maybe you should subscribe, because I like making them too. Anyway, I'm gonna go buy a property in Egypt, so in the meantime, stay crazy everyone, and I'll see you next time.